Hey everyone! Thanks so much for coming and hanging out. I've set myself up in the room that has my Wi-Fi router, so hopefully I will not have the issues that I had last time of the video messing up and dropping. Oh, I'm in my kids' playroom, so it's a slightly dangerous place to be. Or what?
There.
Oh, okay. Are you staying or are you going? Just don't trip over my cord. I set both my kids up with an activity, but it did not work. Sam pretty much instantly left. Oh, thank you. We were trying to clean the house today and my hair was driving me crazy, so I I tied it up to get it out of my face. It's always tied up, but I tied it up extra tight. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty shocked that January is gone already. I didn't even realize that it had been 2 weeks since the last time I had done a live video, and I was like, oh God, I said I was gonna do this every 2 weeks. I better schedule and book up a video for tonight. But I don't even know what I've been up to. I haven't. I don't really have too much to update you guys on. So if you have any questions, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, I'm still waiting on my seeds. Um, the main company that I purchased my seeds from this year is William Dam. Oh. Sam's making crazy noises, but it sounds like he's just playing with the cats. Um, yeah, the main place I purchased my seeds from is William Dam this year, and I actually broke their website because I tried to order so many seeds. And so I was chatting with the people a little bit when I did my order, and they told me that they weren't actually going to start sending out orders at all until the like now-ish. And then they do the orders in order of who ordered first, basically. And so I was telling them I need my seeds for end of February, and they told me that that would for sure happen. But it means I still have to sit here impatiently, still probably for another 3-4 weeks until those specific seeds show up. So I don't have any more seeds to show off in my live videos. But that order is gonna be insane when it finally does come in, because I spent $1,300 and I bought so many things that literally their system couldn't handle the number of items that I had in the cart. So it's gonna be a mountain. I'm assuming. Um, I've been. Oh, Sam's bringing every single one of his toys over. Yeah, is that what you're gonna do? Are you gonna play with toys here?
No.
It's broken?
No.
Sam has all these little pieces that he had put together, but now they're broken. Okay, well, why don't you just find something else? Okay, I'll keep an eye on these. Or why don't you go play with your sister? I bet you can go play with her dollhouse. $350. That's a pretty good order. Okay, so what Ian is doing right now is he is out in Alberta. He's in northern Alberta. He was freezing his butt off. He had -30 the last couple days. And he's working. He has a job right now where he is running his machine. So he's making a little bit of money, and we're crossing our fingers that he will be able to keep working. What, you want my water? We're hoping that he'll be able to keep working for February, and that he kind of won't finish up his work until end of February, beginning of March, because that will then give us enough money to be able to pay our bills for the year, because we have the super weird self-employed situation where he makes a lot of money when he's working. but we never know when he's going to be working. Yeah, so with his work, we usually don't necessarily know. Like, we know he'll be working tomorrow, but it's always a little stressful for him because he doesn't know. I know you got your toys. You're showing your toys. He doesn't know how long he'll be working, and they always the info bounces around between, oh, there's gonna be work like for 300 days, which there obviously isn't, or like, oh, I don't know, like this could be the last day of work. So Ian usually sits up there stressed out anytime he's working, like not knowing how much money he's gonna get, and then I cross my fingers that that it ends up being enough. Oh, that's cool. You know, I mean, I like so planting an acre. That's like, that's a pretty awesome goal. I wouldn't mind eventually having an acre planted, but I also know that Yes, I know you're crazy. I know that planting an acre is a pretty massive job. So the size that I'm planning on doing this year is adding like a 4,000 square foot like farm, like market garden space. And then I think that the last year we put, like when I went and I measured it up, I think it was about 3,500 or 4,000 square feet that we put in last year of gardens. But like, man, like an acre, that's a 5-year plan job. But definitely if you can get those perennials in there. I know, like, I've looked back at some of our old videos of our old place, which was 0.18 of an acre, and it was crazy how much we had crammed in there and just how much you can do. Yeah, trees, yeah, like all the perennials and stuff. I mean, I honestly, what I'm hoping to have for growing space just for crops would be to have 60 50-foot beds. So I think that would be like, that would be 12,000 square feet is the size that I'm hoping to have for the farm. And then I'd probably want to have a personal garden of about 2,000 square feet just for planting things that we wouldn't have on the farm. And like, that would be a couple people's full-time work. But yeah, it's amazing how little work those perennials need. That first year, I think what we did this last summer is a good sign of how perennials need some work in the beginning, because we transplanted all of our perennials in, and they needed some time to get established, and you have to baby them, you have to water them and take care of them and everything. But I think even coming into next year, everything's going to be pretty self-sustaining. Like I really love all the permaculture stuff. You see all those permaculture videos of, like the no work, all you do is you go out there and you hack stuff down doing the prune, and you harvest, and it's hard to believe sometimes, but with all the perennials that we were doing, the last 5 years or so, I really could imagine you spend a decade setting up a system, across a couple acres, and then at that point it really does take care of itself, especially if you're in an area where you get real rain. But I saw asking about the snowblower. So one of the backstories, which I realized with a bunch of the comments on the snowblower video, is it's kind of ridiculous to have a snowblower in Kelowna because, like, we're super lucky for weather here. I don't mind winters too much here because we get snow a handful of times. And then quite often we get an inch or two of snow, and then the next day it'll warm up, and so you don't even need to shovel snow in Kelowna. Um, you know, like it's nice that we have the snowblower, so if I did like need to shovel snow like what I was doing by hand there the other day, that if I have a snowblower, it just goes, it's super fast. It doesn't become a thing that like is preventing me from doing something else with the day. Mainly like, but mainly we have it because Ian just wanted it so that he didn't have to worry about if we got a random snowstorm in Kelowna that I'd maybe be stuck at home like with the kids because I wasn't able to keep on top of the snow and I couldn't shovel myself out. But you know, the shoveling that driveway, and that was like a heavy snow for Kelowna. Like it really did only take 45 minutes because the time lapse that I have, it's every second is a minute on the time lapse. And I think when I went and looked at it, because I edited a little bit out on either side, and I think there was like, 45 seconds. But yeah, but so I in the video I said that I had a thing of gas and that I needed to talk to Ian. And so I talked to him that night and he was like, "You're an idiot. There's like a huge thing of gas." And he was telling me that there was all this gas over by the potting shed. And then when I went to the potting shed to double check, because I did actually look in there, there was no gas, so I don't know what he was talking about. And the snow has melted a bunch because I was thinking that maybe there was gonna be like gas canister on the side and maybe it was just covered in snow, but no, there wasn't any gas anywhere. But but yeah, I still that because that video was I filmed that about like probably a week ago like a week ago today because I had to go somewhere on Thursday. So on Wednesday I knew I had to shovel myself out because it was so warm that all the snow had melted and then it was going to get cold overnight. So I knew I had to shovel because I had to drive out of my driveway and I was worried about being able to do that if I hadn't shoveled. But actually I really like shoveling snow. It's one of those things that I just don't mind. I find that I get so cooped up in the house, especially like not so I don't work. So there's no reason that I have to like leave ever. And then like the kids, like like go outside with the kids, but I don't actually it's not like the kids are in a bunch of activities where like we need to go out and do things. So we spend a lot of time at home and then like when it's gray and miserable there's no real reason to get outside like there is in the summer like and so I miss it. So I don't mind having the snow to go out and shovel because it forces me to get outside and to get active. I used to at the old place we lived beside like we weren't on the corner, we were just one over from the corner, but the corner like across from us was an old elementary school that had been turned into a paramedics school. And so it just seemed anytime we got snow it would always happen like on a Friday, and so no one was at the paramedic school over the weekend because they're shut down. But our neighborhood was like a huge walking area. We were really close to a big park, and then we were off the main road but still had a nice sidewalk, so lots and lots of people would walk around where we lived. And so in the winter, usually when it would snow on those weekend days, I'd actually go and I'd shovel out like basically a block because I would go and I would shovel the sidewalks in front of the paramedic school, just because if I was gonna go out there, I might as the shoveling my place took 10 minutes, so it was only an extra 10 minutes to keep doing the sidewalk, and I knew that the 10 minutes that I spent would be really appreciated by everyone out there with their dogs. So it really it wasn't bad to be shoveling the other day. Though I have to admit, the next day I woke up and my back was like so sore. I'm so out of shape. And one of the things that I was really hoping that I'd be able to get done this winter was to start to get into shape. I've been trying I hate working out. I hate like like I've been like had gym routines and things like that in the past, but I don't like it. I like not dying when I try to do anything active. So I do medicinal exercise. And so I've been trying to do some like core exercise, just because I know that like there's no way I'm gonna be able to squat and bend to garden and farm, without strengthening my core, and then doing that snow shoveling showed me that I my core isn't my only issue. I really need to do like some back strengthening as well, because yeah, it's gonna be. I'm assuming there's going to be back breaking labor this coming season. So if I don't want to break my back, then I need to strengthen it up a little bit. uh, so food preserving, and food goals. I can definitely talk to that. Yeah, also squatting. So I'm gonna make a video about this, but I had issues with like urinary incontinence following having children that I actually cured by spending a season of squatting to plant things. And so, yeah, gardening is a very good cure for a lot of things that potentially ail you. But yeah, so food goals. So one of the things, because we did make a video where we were talking about some of our food goals. But the food, our main food goal basically is just to eat better. We ate really, really badly. We ate really horribly last year. We were so busy with moving, and then we're so used to a lot of our food habits being based around eating what's in the garden, that when we didn't have a garden, we didn't have those healthy eating habits. You know, because it's easy to go outside and just pick what's in the garden and then cook it and eat it. So we eat a lot of vegetarian, just basically vegetables. We do a lot of like stir fries and barbecued vegetables and things like that. But so we didn't have that. So we want to get back there. The kids got really used to not eating healthy. Like kids, they're kids are the worst. They don't want to eat anything healthy if they have the option. So the kids got used to like, oh, we're just super busy, so we'll throw on a pot of macaroni and cheese, and so now they're more than happy to eat macaroni and cheese like 3 meals a day. I don't know how to actually do live stream stuff, but I also don't care. um, uh, yeah, so once we have our garden going, then we're hoping to eat a lot better. And we're also hoping to get started early. My whole farm plan is revolving around having the like, okay, so our market is June 1st. So our farm plan is around everything being like coming to market for June 1st. So we figure as of June 1st we're going to be drowning in vegetables, because I'm going to bring stuff to sell to the amount that I don't think I'm gonna be able to sell. So part of our food plans for next year is that we are gonna basically, so our farmers market is gonna be Friday nights. So we're gonna spend Thursday, Friday preparing and then selling, and then basically like Saturday is when I'm gonna food like make a meal plan for the week, because I'll basically just be planning on eating whatever's left over from the market. But also a lot of the things that we're going to be growing for the market are stuff that I can do some preserving with. So, like some of the first things that we're going to be having are going to be like radishes and these little baby turnips. Um, and so that kind of stuff, those, if they don't sell, will make really good pickles. I've started picking up doing some of my fermenting again. Like all of my fermenting got completely completely put to the wayside. I'm hoping that I'll have a bunch of veggie type things that I'll be able to, basically on Saturday set up a crock and start things pickling. And then I'm assuming I'm going to have way too many tomatoes, but I'm also assuming that I'm not going to have enough time to be able to do canning of things like tomatoes. So this last summer we bought a deep freeze, and and what I've been using it for is I have been putting 5-gallon pails of fruit in there. I just have I have all these like open pails of fruit, and so I need to get through those. I've been working on that. Yeah, I've been working on doing that. Sorry. Um, yeah, just okay. Yeah, I've been working on trying to get through that to empty out that freezer. So, for my birthday, I got 250 pounds of apples, and I had big plans to turn those into applesauce. And so I made a big pot of applesauce, and then I personally don't like applesauce, but I thought it would be good to feed to the kids. But yeah, I made a big pot of applesauce and then tried to feed it to the kids, and my kids are the worst. As soon as it's something homemade, they have zero interest in it. So I had 3 gallons of applesauce, and the kids were like, we don't want it. We don't want to eat any of it. And, I spent a week trying to get them to eat any of it, and they wouldn't. So I was like, I'm not gonna can up 100 jars of applesauce to just get left in my cold storage until 2 years have passed, and I want to get rid of it. Sorry, what's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, your ball? I don't know. Did you leave it in the kitchen? We'll go get it. Sorry, Sam. Sam's playing with his toys, but he's misplaced something. Yeah, so now I have 250 pounds of apples that I need to do something with. And I would use it in baking, but I don't bake. I'm the worst. So, yeah, so what I then decided was I was going to make apple chips. So I made up, I pulled out my dehydrator, and I made a big thing of apple chips, and then I was like, and they were super good. They were really, really good. They're crispy and super tasty. And so then I spent a week trying to get the kids to eat these apple chips, and then because they're homemade by me, the kids had absolutely zero interest in the apple chips. And so I gave those away to my mom. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not making any more apple chips. So my newest attempt to get the kids to eat these apples that I have is that I have been cooking up an applesauce and then adding it in with a bunch of the fruit in my freezer, because I also need to empty that out. So I made some cherry apple fruit leather, and I made some grape apple fruit leather, and I've been selling it to the kids as not fruit leather but candy paper, which I personally think that's genius. And it's been working so far. They've been enjoying getting a treat of candy paper. And also Ian and I like the fruit leather too. So if I make up 250 pounds of of fruit leather. Like within a year, we will be able to use that. And I have been making apple cider vinegar, and for the first time, it's working. Because I have a bunch of fermenting videos about me messing up apple cider vinegar, and and but I did it. I finally did it. So and I have at this point I have like this big 3 gallon crock that I got from my grandpa. It's like this beautiful stoneware crock. And so I'm gonna make a video about how I finally know how to do it. So I can finish it, it can be the final one to the trilogy of me trying to make apple cider vinegar and failing, and it can be the finally overcoming and having success. But Ian told me I had to make him like 100 liters of apple cider vinegar because he read some book that said you need apple cider vinegar for chickens. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But what was my point? Oh, my point is like, okay, full circle. Okay, so the reason why I'm excited about the fruit leather is because I have this chest freezer that's filled with fruit that that should get emptied out, because what I'm going to do is when I have things left over from the market, like tomatoes, because I'm assuming I'm gonna have a million tomatoes, what I want to do is I want to fill up that chest freezer with like just I've been really happy with I have like just like 5 gallon pails that are yeah, I have 5 gallon pails that there's like I don't know what is up with today, but I feel like I've made it, guys. Finally getting trolled. um yeah, so I've been super happy with the with these pails. I don't even have lids on them, but because Ian and I we like freezing stuff. We find that freezing stuff is a good way for us to store things. And we're also like, before we were right downtown in our city, we like never had power outages ever. We're actually near we were like a couple blocks from one of the major transformers. And since moving to where we are now, because this is more of like a suburb area, we have had some power outages, and we find that power outages. Sorry, no, your ball's right there. We find that power outages here can last for a couple hours, but we're not rural at all, so we're not in an area where the power could go out and stay out for a couple days. So I am pretty confident about storing things in the freezer. It's just I find that things in the freezer don't have the same shelf life as canning. Like I'll happily keep canned goods for 2 years, whereas I find we hit kind of 6 months to 8 months, and things start to get a little bit iffy. Yeah, exactly. Losing it when the power goes out. The nice thing about me is my freezers are filled to the brim, so they're so full that they actually hold a lot of the cold. They could probably be unplugged for a day and it would be fine. But that is, depending on your area, it's a really good reason to not freeze for that exact reason. But yeah, but one of the reasons why we don't like freezing is that we don't like all the plastic garbage that it makes. It's nice to be able to throw tomatoes into a Ziploc and then have them in the freezer. It's super fast, and I don't blanch them. I just throw them in with the skins on, just chop, in it goes. The only time I'll blanch stuff is if it just doesn't freeze really nicely. Like if I'm doing like spinach or something, then I definitely like cook it. Yeah, and paper wrap, like that's something that we've heard about, but I know that a lot of like freezer paper isn't actually a plastic free solution because the freezer paper is actually just a like a plastic lined paper. So okay, sorry. Yeah, so it's not moving away like from one plastic to another isn't necessarily exactly what we want to do either. Ideally, we would like to have like a solution that's reusable, even if it is plastic. So we have invested over the years into some nicer quality plastic containers, stuff that because I find that I have lost a lot of just like cheap Tupperware stuff to the freezer because when it comes out of the freezer, it's frozen, so it's super brittle, or you're moving stuff around and they bump into each other and they just smash. And so I yeah, I haven't had a ton of luck with that, but I invested into some of these like really big containers that are like kitchen stuff. And I've also done freezing in jars and I've been happy with it. You need to leave a lot of headspace. Like if you have a jar like this and it curves in, if you like filled it up the way you would a can and put it in the freezer, it would explode because as it expands, it hits into this spot where the neck narrows in. But so if you're gonna can in a jar, you either want a straight-sided jar, which I have some because I collect jars from everywhere and anywhere, and a lot of the vintage ones are straight-sided, so those are really good for freezing in. But if you do have like the more traditional shape, you can still freeze in them. You just need to put your food level lower than where it tapers in. So then when it expands up, it doesn't break the jar. But yeah, I've had a lot of luck with that. It gets really heavy because literally we fill multiple freezers worth of frozen stuff. Sam, it doesn't go there. It doesn't work. You need to get some other pieces. Um, but yeah, so one thing that I'd seen online that I wanted to experiment with because people say that it works, but it's the internet. I never trust too much what nothing like what a blogger says to get my guard up. Like, oh, bloggers, I don't know. They just but so people have talked about just like not putting like they just take an entire tomato and they throw it in the freezer and they don't do anything and they say that when it comes out the skin basically protects it. And so I was like, well, I'm sorry. But why don't you do it on the ground where it's a bit more solid? I just messed up Sam's blocks. Yeah, so like I was like, oh well, let's experiment with this to like with what I had because I had all the fruit. So I put like I put a bunch of the apricots just in, like just open into my freezer. Um, and I like grapes. I know with grapes, like they're sugary enough, they almost like create like a little like sugar coating and they're fine. But yeah, so I basically just used these 5 gallon pails that I had and just filled them up with stuff. And it's been working out really well. Um, so I think that the tomatoes like not needing to be sealed into anything, especially if they're not gonna be in your freezer for a super long time, is something that I'm really excited to do. As for grapes here, the grapes that we had at our old place that we were always picking were not actually our grapes. They were grapes that grew over a fence from our neighbor. Our neighbor had this like crazy overrun backyard. And like nothing was ever pruned or watered. Like you peek in and it was like there was like all these appliances and everything. But oh my god, this grape was so good and it was 1 million years old. So like it like had roots way down. So it was super sweet and super tasty. Um, yeah, and so I couldn't dig that up to take it with me. And I don't have a ton of experience with propagating things. Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. And also the time that you're supposed to propagate stuff, like basically everything that we did for moving here was at the wrong time. Like you're not supposed to transplant things in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the heat, and you're not supposed to try to propagate things in the middle of the summer. But we did it anyways because there's no other option. And so I actually brought over 2 pails. I took cuttings, I got a whole pail of cuttings off of the green grape and a whole pail of cuttings off of the red grape because they're both like just really, really tasty grapes. And so they got super neglected, but they didn't just dry out. They were still kind of green by the time the fall, like in cooler weather hit. And so what I did with them, because the fence was then finished, because the fence is where we're going to grow vines on. So I just took them because I didn't know what else to do, and I shoved them into prepped ground. And so they're out there, and like fingers crossed, like maybe I have like the ultimate green thumb and I can just put half dead sticks in the ground and they grow into grapes, because grapes are supposed to be really easy to propagate. But if not, one of the lessons that I learned about grapes, because we actually did plant grapes at our old place, and we bought like some grapes from a nursery and planted them, and a handful of years later they produced grapes and they sucked. They tasted really bad, and we never did anything with them. We actually just would leave them for the birds on the plants because we had so many of this other grape that was so tasty that there was no point bothering with the untasty grape. So our plan is, if like I failed and there's dead sticks in the ground and not future grape plants, we're not going to make the same mistake that we already did. I'm going to make sure that I'm buying grapes from someone who's like local, who's just like taking cuttings off their plants and growing grape plants, and I'll go and I'll buy them in the middle of the summer so that I can actually taste what the grapes taste like, because I don't want to spend like with like perennials and stuff, the sooner you get it in the better, because the sooner they'll be producing. But I don't want to spend 3 years to wait until a grape starts to produce and then find out that I don't like it and it's only good for wine or something like that. So that's my plan with grapes. And we also, on that grapevine, that we also want to get some more kiwis. So we had kiwis at the old place and we transplanted 2 of them, but I'm pretty sure we killed those. So, and they were unhappy. So we're probably gonna invest into like another 5 of the hardy kiwis, because they're so funky. Like I don't even think I ever made any sort of content about them like in my back catalog, because they were so stunted that they never really had any luck. I'm reading about you guys talking about all your weather there. Like it's been super nice here. I know, like I see that Chelsea's on there, and I know that she's been getting some snow, but I'm sure she's also been appreciating how nice this winter's been. It's been really crazy. We had a winter that was kind of like this a couple of years ago, and what happened was it was super nice all January, but then February got like super harsh and it was like really cold. And I'm in Canada. I'm in like southern British Columbia. Yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, we had a year that was kind of like this a couple of years ago, and then it was then it got super cold in February and it got super snowy in March, whereas normally like March is spring where we are. And it went straight from like a huge dump of snow all March to like hot weather, and we had a bunch of flooding. So I think a lot of people got like overexcited about how nice January was, and then thought that the season was going to start early, and then it started later but then it started super strong because it was so hot, but it doesn't really help if you're anywhere near a flooding spot. Yeah, so Ian's in northern Alberta right now. And so where I am, there's like the Rocky Mountains that divides like BC from the rest of the country, and he's been getting hit. Like BC's been actually pretty warm. Like way warmer than usual. While all of you guys have on like the, more eastern side of everything have been getting hit with all that crazy, like I forget what they call it, like the polar vortex or something. But yeah, I know the weather's been crazy this year. Yeah, like is the extremes that everything goes for. I saw it come up a couple times. I don't have my seeds yet. My seeds probably aren't coming until the end of February. I haven't. I was like super on the ball and was like all organized, but I lost a little bit of steam and started working towards other things. But I still need to. So I did all my orders from the main place I'm getting my seeds from this year, William Dam Seeds. They're not coming until end of February, beginning of March. And then I need to order some stuff from West Coast Seeds, which I was going to do and then just didn't. So I should probably, when I'm finished here, go do that. Because there's a handful of things that I need to get from West Coast Seeds that William Dam Seeds didn't have. And West Coast Seeds will be fast. I'll get those like in a week or two. And then the other thing that I need to do, which I haven't done yet, is all the cool kids, all the best, all the market gardeners, all the cool farmers are all growing. They all say that the best type of lettuce to grow is Salanova lettuce, which is like an exclusive seed to Johnny's Seeds, and so I'm gonna buy from there. I don't normally like to buy from American companies just because exchange is crazy. It's an extra 30%, and then it also, you can start to get dinged with things coming over the border, which adds on to the fees. But I'm gonna buy these seeds from Johnny's, and there also is a few other things that they didn't have at William Dam and that they don't have at West Coast Seeds, and so then I'll pick those up from Johnny Seeds too, just so I don't have to make like even more purchases from places. I hate lettuce too, but that's where the money is. I don't like salad. I'd rather eat a bowl of tomatoes than a bowl of lettuce. So I don't normally grow it, but in theory I should be able to do it. And then I know that that's what everyone wants to buy. For starting my seeds, the plan is that so I started everything beginning of March last year for like tomatoes and peppers, and that was a good size for my tomatoes. My plan for tomatoes is I want to do 8. So I'm growing a ton of starts, not just for me, but to sell. My plan is in May I want to sell seedlings to try to make some money for the farm. So I want 8 weeks out for tomatoes. So like March 1st is when I start growing tomatoes, so that May 1st the seedlings will be of a size that they look good and they look healthy for people to buy. But then if they don't sell until the end of March, they won't get so big and so leggy. You can't have that in here. Okay? You can't have.
Okay, you can just
Okay, yeah. Yeah, if so 12, that gives me a window of 8 weeks to 12 weeks where the tomatoes will still look good. I won't have to pot them even bigger before I sell them. And I started peppers last year at the exact same time, but it wasn't enough time. So ideally, I want to start the peppers as soon as my seeds come in. So at this point, I'm a little bit limited for when the seeds will come in by just when William Dam will get them out to me. And the plan wasn't to have any sort of like seed starting setup, because my plan was to have the greenhouse, and then we're usually really nice weather here in March. not like I can go and plant stuff in the garden, but January, February, it's always like just gray and dark. Like we get no sun. But usually by March the clouds blow off, and so then we start getting sunny days. So with a greenhouse, it will heat up in the daylight and be warm enough that I can grow stuff in the daylight and the day warmth. And then when the sun goes down, I then have to bring the seedlings inside. But it's a way of being able to not have to buy the extra lighting and everything. But I have been looking into it a little bit. There's a lot of things that we want to spend money on this year, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to add that to the list, especially because some of the things that I found that would be a little bit more like affordable to do than are starting my house is 100 years old. I don't know when the last time the power was updated. I don't know how many lights I can run. I can stack a power bar full of a row of lights and then plug it into the wall and like blow my fuses. I don't know how powerful things are, so it starts to get risky. So we're going to get chickens. I saw asking about that. The plan is that we are going to get 50 like production red laying hens in the spring. So I don't know exactly when yet, but early enough that hopefully we'd start to get eggs by the end of summer. But for me the priority is to get the market garden going. Yeah, Ian's priority is the chickens. But if Ian's not home, then we can't do anything for the chickens. We need to get stuff going with the chickens. But yeah, so hopefully we'll have like 50. Well, I mean, we'd have to buy more than 50 if we want 50. So I don't know what normal dying is on stuff. But yeah, probably, I don't know, like 60. And the reason why we're gonna do the production reds is because we just need them for a couple of years to get things going, and so we want the eggs to sell basically. Yeah, like 5 months old. That's kind of what I thought. So if we can get them in April, then. But yeah, the production reds are kind of like they're simple. Like we'll have 2 good years out of them. I think there's a good chance that we might be able to sell some off once they're laying to make a bit of money that way. But they're just there are get started with chickens because we want to use the chickens to get things started down in the bottom half of the property. And so basically we think maybe there's going to be 2 years where we're not going to have a set spot for chickens, and so because of that we can have a bigger number of chickens. And so then if we're gonna have a flock of 50 just to work the land and to keep the weeds down, then we might as well hopefully get them to pay for themselves or help pay for themselves by having some eggs. So production reds for that reason. We're gonna build a chicken coop. We're gonna buy a flatbed trailer, and then build a coop on it, just so it can be moved around, because we know that wherever we want the chickens to be for the next little bit isn't where we're going to want the chickens to be once we're done preparing the land, and when we kind of move away from the production reds into a more family flock type thing. So if we spend the money and we build a nice chicken coop, if it's on a trailer bed, then we can move it to wherever it's going to be. And so then it feels a little bit easier to spend the money to build something nice, rather than building something nice and then trying to drag a shed around on your property. I see people do it, but I'm still not 100% sure how that actually works out. But yeah, and then we'll just do temporary fencing And then we're gonna cross our fingers that we don't have any predator issues. Our neighbors like right beside us, they have like chickens that are just, out in they have like a fenced off area where they stay. And they have a dog, and so their dog like barks and like keeps things away. So we think there's a good chance that we can mooch off of Skip to keep predators away from our area. But worst case scenario, if we have to, we'll get a dog to go with the chickens. We just a dog is a big commitment. We already have 6 cats, which is like hard enough like to find like if we needed to go away for a weekend, but to have like 50 chickens and a dog and 6 cats and like a million other things, it's just everything that you add in is just more expense and more and more and more of more. But yeah. I saw, like, going way back, I saw this. Someone asked why I was buying from William Dam Seeds this year instead of West Coast Seeds, and the reason is just money. I really like West Coast Seeds, and like I kind of joked to Ian when we started like doing YouTube. I was like, my goal is like maybe we can like get West Coast Seeds to sponsor us, and then we can get some free seeds from them. But I didn't even ask. But yeah, so William Dam, they like West Coast Seeds does large quantities of seeds. So like if you wanted to buy farm seed from them, you can. And their prices aren't bad. There's a lot of places that I wouldn't buy from just because I think their prices are like really, really bad. I'm pretty like price conscious when it comes to seeds. And I'm okay with spending what I do with West Coast Seeds. But yeah, basically like if I was gonna buy a kilogram of seeds with West Coast Seeds versus a kilogram of seeds with William Dam Seeds, the savings could be like in the range of like $50 to $100. And so it was like I knew I was buying a lot of stuff, so I needed to save a little bit of money. And then so William Dam Seeds is also kind of like a farm seed company. So and they're out in Ontario. And a lot of the stuff that they have are stuff that like are well adapted to growing for market. Where some of West Coast Seeds is more like just home gardening type things. Like I like the idea of heirlooms, but I also like easy to grow, really high production vegetables more than I like ideas. So I'm a pretty big fan of strong hybrids, and so like that they basically just have some of the best prices, and so that's why I was buying from them. But yeah, like. I bought way too much stuff because I'm doing all these like seedlings. So yeah, I saved myself probably like a good $400-500 just by buying from them. So that's why they're my main seed source this year. Yeah, ideally I like the Buff Orpingtons. I like how big and how people talk about how they're like quiet and calm. I think having like a big, mellow chicken is like the perfect, chicken to have around kids. Because like I don't want a chicken that's so small that if the kids like went out there and were trying to say hi to the chickens that they'd be getting injured. And then, ideally I like the idea of having a flock that is the dual purpose, like eggs and meat birds, because like I'd like to eat. I'd like to eat chickens as well as eat eggs. I'd actually prefer to eat chicken than eggs. I'm not a huge egg fan. Oh, careful, Sam. But yeah, I think we're gonna start with the production reds just because they produce so much. And then the plan would be to eventually kind of go into like a mixed flock and have roosters and whole like like a family flock basically where we can have the fancy colored eggs and they can like have if they go broody they can have babies and then we'll just like eat some of our chickens as they you know as they kind of do their thing. But like for me the priority is to get the farm going. Like if we can get the farm going so that it's making money, then like that's where we then have a good basis for adding all these other things. Part of the story about why we even did this move, like we've been talking ever since we moved about making this video, but part of the reason we moved is ideally I'd like to have goats. Goats is what I want more than anything. It's just like for this the reason we didn't actually get chickens last year because we were going to is I refuse to get chickens until we have a chicken coop. Like it would be fun to get chickens. It's easy to like go and find someone on like Craigslist and go and like buy a chicken. But what's the point of buying the animal if we don't have the infrastructure? And like what's the point of forcing ourselves to get the infrastructure if we don't actually have the time to build the infrastructure before we even have the animal? So basically we didn't buy the chickens this last summer. Sorry, Sam. We didn't buy the chickens this last summer because we didn't have time to build the chicken coop, and I figured if we didn't have time to build the chicken coop, then we didn't actually have time to get chickens. and I honestly I don't think we would have been able to get as much done as we did if we had the distraction of the chickens to keep us from getting everything that we did get done. So it's the same idea with the milk goats. If I don't have like really awesome fencing and like a mini barn for them, then I'm not ready for milk goats because as it always goes, having the infrastructure is like the easiest step. And if you don't even have the time to get the infrastructure together, then there's definitely going to probably be a period of struggling when you first get it. And I'd rather have, animals be a stress-free thing, especially because, they're like, I don't have to feel too bad if I kill some like veggies and seedlings, but I would feel very neglectful if I went and bought myself some animals and wasn't ready for them and then they died. That's not a video I want to make, even though it might be able to have a clickbait title on it. I think that was pretty much all the questions that I noticed there. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you're wondering about what I'm up to. I know it's like I haven't been making too many videos right now just because I have been pretty focused on trying to get organized. I've been doing a lot of like little piddly things like trying to order some business cards and like doing pre-shopping. I've been hitting my head against the wall trying to figure out what size bag I need to sell things at the farmer's market. But I'm not stressed about it. It's just that I know when March hits, it's gonna be busy. When March hits, we're gonna be ready. Like it's gonna be go time because we don't have that like beds built yet. So we're gonna have to spend March building the beds. So if I can get all of the the research done that I need to do to be prepared to do the steps, then I'll be then I'll be ready to go without stress. So basically, it's just I'd rather like it's a lot to learn. There's a lot that I don't know, and like one of the things that I've been struggling with is I'll come up with something that I think is a really simple is a really simple question. Like, oh, like what kind of displays do I want to have on my table at the farmer's market? And I'll be like, oh, like these wood boxes look really nice that lots of other people have. And then I start thinking about what it means to do that, and it just then has a million questions. Like, so if I have a wooden display box, is it food safe to display bunched vegetables in a wooden display box that is because wood is a porous material, unlike metal. Do you have to go potty? Okay, go. No, you go. Okay, sorry guys, I gotta go. Sam is making me take him to the potty, so I'm gonna head out now. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will do this again in 2 weeks. So I will see you guys again then. But I'm gonna run so I don't have to clean up